Sairam. After hearing my last Parayanam, some students came and asked me to tell them about what I remember of my earlier days in the hostel. I had joined the Sri Sathya Sai hostel in the year 1974. What I had read out the other day was only from 1976. From 1974, July, I joined Brindavan. In those days, there used to be a lot of day scholars coming from the surrounding villages to Brindavan. And the hostel by itself was a very small one. There were only about 60 students. In fact, there was a car shed on the left-hand side of the entrance to Brindavan, where all the students were accommodated. When I used to come as a Balvika student, I had seen Swami go into that hostel, and there would be peals of laughter and a lot of Swami, someone must be cracking jokes, that's what I thought. And it was a lot of fun. And after about an hour and a half, Swami would come out. So it was naturally a dream to join Brindavan. But I wondered where would be the place for so many students. In fact, I went around the hostel to check whether it enlarged behind, whether there was an extension behind the hostel. The hostel was a very small one. In the ground floor, there were 3 small rooms. These rooms must be about 10 feet by 12 feet or like that. And these 3 rooms, in front of these 3 rooms was a long hall with kadapa slab tables. That was our dining hall. It also doubled up as the place where Bhagawan would come to every day, in the morning and in the evening. We would stand on either side of the kadapa slab tables, and Swami would come. He would come to give darshan to devotees. He would cover half the circle around the peepal tree, the Om Sri Sai Ram shed, and come straight to the hostel and spend about 1 to 1.5 hours. And then he would go back and cover the other half and then return to the mandir. This was a daily routine, and Swami would spend a lot of time with the students. In fact, I remember there used to be one student who was from Gujarat. In fact, he was basically a Gujarati, but not from Gujarat. He was from abroad. And this student was extremely devoted to Swami. And he was also very orthodox. He would make some fried item for Swami to eat. And he had a very gruff voice. He was not very academically brilliant. It is putting in the superlative. Actually, he was not academically good. In fact, when he finished his BCom, after a number of years, Swami gave all of us sweets. And he joked saying that actually this fellow did not pass his 3rd year. It is just that the university wanted to change the scheme, and therefore they passed him, because they didn't want to continue the scheme just for the sake of one student. Because that was Swami in his jovial mood. This person would have a bath even to wash Swami's plate. He would make something for Swami and offer it with lot of devotion. He wouldn't offer it himself. He would call one of us who were in the junior most class, and he would tell us, you must persuade Swami to eat this. You must tell Swami, plead with Swami, pray to Swami. And so when Swami would come, we would slowly plead with Swami. We would say, Swami, please take this, and offer that bowl of fried groundnuts or pakoda or something like that. And Swami would sometimes he would take 1 groundnut, and he would offer it to that same boy. And that boy would quickly keep the bowl and cup his hands to receive. And then Swami would put it into his own mouth, much to all our laughter. And Swami would play with us like that. And sometimes he would take it and even eat it. I remember one particular instance when this boy had made some pakoda, and one boy, one of the junior boys, offered it to Swami, please take. And Swami very lovingly took one pakoda, and he was about to eat it, and suddenly, I don't know what went through his mind, he just put it back. And we are all shocked, and Swami looked at all of us and said, no, all of you are not eating, only I am eating. So it's not correct. That's why I put it back. And one of the senior boys, who was quite versed in the scriptures, he said, no, Swami, it is not like that. If Swami eats, it's like all of us eating. Swami said, no, how is it? Then that boy said, no, Swami, in the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, there is this incident where Rana had requested Durvasa to go and enjoy the hospitality of the Pandavas with a wrong intention. His intention was not to give them the joy of serving. His idea was to embarrass them. And he prayed, Duryodhana prayed, that Durvasa Muni should go only after Draupadi had finished her meals. And Durvasa was going to that forest with 10,000 disciples. It was a veritable university which was following him. All his disciples and so many teachers, gurus must be there. And when Durvasa came to the forest, Draupadi had already served all those who came to the house, into the hermitage or hut or whatever it was in the forest. And she had also partaken of her food, washed the Akshaya Patram which was given to her, which could provide food for any number of people, till the point where she finished her food and washed the vessel. And she came, Yudhishthira welcomed him, and then Durvasa Maharshi said, I will just go with my disciples and have bath in the river nearby. In the meanwhile, get food ready for all of us. It was lunchtime. And Dharmaja was shocked. When he conveyed this to Draupadi, she was even more shocked because she had already washed the vessel and there was no way she could get, there was no way they could provide food even to Durvasa Muni, forget 10,000 of his disciples. And Durvasa Muni was known to have a short fuse, so anything could enrage him. And the Pandavas were all worried what was in store for them. And so they prayed to Lord Krishna, and Lord Krishna appeared in front of them, and he just came very casually and he said, even before they could ask him anything, Krishna said, Draupadi, get me something to eat, I am hungry. And Draupadi said, but Lord, actually you are not the first guest. At least you are a guest who is benevolent, who will not curse us. Here is this Durvasa Maharshi who has come, and he has come with 10,000 disciples and he is expecting to be fed, and there is no provision, nothing for me to cook any food for him. Krishna said, what are you talking? I don't see anybody in sight. And he pretended that he was very hungry, and Draupadi said, please Lord, please save us. You also don't add to our troubles. And then Krishna said, Draupadi, what about that vessel which I gave you? That should be able to feed all the people. She said, yes Lord, but I have had my food and cleaned the vessel. And Krishna said, oh, you have cleaned the vessel, just get it, let's see. And so she got the vessel, and Krishna discovered a small leafy vegetable there. And he said, looks like you had palak curry today. And Draupadi was stunned. She said, I always clean the vessel very thoroughly. You must have created this, Krishna. And Krishna took and put that leaf on his tongue and said, Akshayam. At the same moment, Durvasa Maharshi and 10,000 of his disciples, their hunger was satiated. And the disciples went and told the Maharshi, Durvasa Maharshi, that we are all full. We can't eat even one morsel of food. And he said, no, Raja has kept so much food for us, ready for us. How will we tell him that we can't eat? But they said, not one bit we can eat. So at that time, what happened? Krishna sent Bhima. Krishna said, Bhima, go and request them to come for lunch. Tell them we are waiting. Let them come. So Bhima went after Durvasa Maharshi. Durvasa Maharshi and his disciples, they started walking fast, and Durvasa Maharshi told Bhima, please forgive us, we are not able to eat even one morsel of food. When Dharmaja rules the kingdom, I will come and enjoy your hospitality. And he went away by a different route. So this boy said this and said, Swami, that one small leaf which Krishna took satiated the hunger of 10,000 of the disciples. And so, Swami, if you just eat one pakoda, our hunger will be satiated. Swami laughed and said, oh, so you're all Durvasa Maharshi's disciples. I didn't know that. And that boy said, no, Swami, it's not like that. Swami said, oh, then who are you? And then Swami said, your logic is not correct. See, after Brahmarpanam, there is one sloka which comes, Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashritaha Pranapana Samayukta Pachamyannam Chaturvidam. Lord Krishna says, I am the fire of digestion, the digestive fire which is there in everybody's stomach. And it is I who digest all the 4 varieties of food that you offer to me. And so Swami said, if all of you eat, it's equal to my eating. Because this is what that Gita sloka says. Of course, we could not beat the Lord in his logic, and therefore that day he won. And so we could not convince him to eat that pakoda. So this is how every day we would have some nice incident, and we would have a dip in the scriptures. And after all, it was the same Lord who had come in this avatar, and therefore we could see that mischief of Krishna. Although, as sometimes Swami would say, I don't like curds. One day we offered some curd items. Swami said, no, I have had lot of this curd and all in my previous avatar. Another day when payasam was made, Swami said, no, I was born in payasam last time. I don't want this payasam. So this is how he would relate to the earlier avatars and remind us that it is the same Lord who has come in this new form, and it was our great good fortune to be in close proximity to him. And therefore, as we lived in that cute little hostel, we hardly realized how the days passed. The first 3-4 years when we stayed in that small hostel, it was a complete joy. It was every session we would have something wonderful happening, so many creations. Swami would create so many things. Swami would tell us such lovely stories from the Bhagavata Purana, from the Ramayana, and drive home to us the importance of values, the eternal values that we need to follow in our lives and not fall for everything which is there around us. He would say it is so important to live for principles. If you fall for anything, you'll fall for everything. That's what he used to say. So you must always live for the eternal values, Sathya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema and Ahimsa. We'll continue in the next session. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Bolo Bhagawan Shri Sathya Sai Baba Ji Ki Jai.